Yeah, today we're going to be going over how to DIY a dueling tree. Okay, to do this you're going to need a couple things. For the main post, I use a 1/4 inch by 2 inch by 2 inch piece of angle iron. I'm going to use this larger piece of square tube that I found at a scrapyard that I'm going to slide this into. I'm going to use these smaller square tubings for the legs, and then I'm going to use this part to go across the bottom. I'll kind of show you what the goal is. And then obviously for tools, angle grinder, grinding disc, cut off wheels, some safety stuff, obviously your plug, safety glasses, and then there's a welder little link in there. And then so this is my dueling tree that I already made, and so this is kind of what the end goal is going to be like. Obviously we're going to have plates here, so let's get into it. You can plasma cut these out yourself or go ham with an angle grinder, but I highly recommend just buying kits for these. You can find them all over the place. I'll put some links to some in the description below. As far as spacing for these, so these are 6-inch panels. I don't recommend getting 4-inch paddles unless you're a crazy good shot. 6 inches is what I recommend. And then as far as spacing goes, I like to put the first one probably 2 or 3 inches down. So I'm going to get my handy tape measure. We're going to put that 3 inches down. And then after that, I space them. They're 6-inch panels, so I space them every 7 inches. You could do more. I'm going to space them 7 inches because that's what my other one is. Okay, so as far as the overall length, I am doing 4.5 feet. And then I'll be able to get 2 dueling trees out of a 10-inch length. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. Okay, now for the part that's going to go in here to bring that tube up a little bit, you can just use some of that extra that you cut off. I happen to have this 1/4 inch piece of steel, so I'm just going to go ahead and use that. I'm going to do a good estimate on the width, and I'm going to say about 1.5 inches. And then I'm going to cut a strip of this out and then cut it into pieces. I'm going to use a plasma cutter. If you only have an angle grinder, you can do all this with an angle grinder, but I decided it wasn't going to be very fun with an angle grinder. So I'm going to use a plasma cutter. So let's get to it. Okay, so now I got all these cut up. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to put these on kind of like that, and then this is going to weld on just like that. Okay, now one more thing. When you hit this with the bullet and it flips around to the other side and comes back and slams down, this is going to act as a lever that's going to want to pull that off. So what we're going to do to help really strengthen that up, because you really got to weld good, get lots of penetration in your weld, but then you're also going to, I'm going to put a piece of angle iron on the back. So for that, I'm going to use, this is a square tube, and I'm just going to chop it up about 1.5 inch increments, and that's what's going to go on the back. So I'm going to go ahead and chop that up. Okay, so here's the goal. The goal is to put that flat, this on top like that, and then this piece like that. And then you're going to weld the heck out of it so it's super strong. I almost have everything for the top cut and everything. The last thing I need to do is, since I'm using this for my base, and then this is going to slide into here for the base, so I do need to trim this down just a little bit so it'll fit in there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I've got everything for the top done, and then for the base it's pretty simple. These are going to be the legs front and back. So we're going to go on the sides of this. I'm going to put 2 of these deep, and then this guy's going to go on the top. Angled 4, because you always want a pretty good angle on your on your dueling tree, so you don't get all the legs. Okay, so I'm going to cut this up. These are 18 inches that I'm going to do, and then these legs, typically 24, these happen to be 21 because that's what I had liner on. So ain't nobody going to the moon on this, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so now I'm just going to weld everything up just like I said. The welder, you're going to want your voltage setting set pretty high, so that way you just get a lot of current and a lot of penetration into this 1/4 inch steel. Okay, so I'm almost done. This is one of the last steps. So the base all welded up. This all welded up. So I just gotta weld this last part onto here. And this is what's going to hold the base. But you want to make sure it's as vertical as possible so your dueling tree isn't slanted when you're shooting at it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay guys, so here it is, complete. I have 6 plates, but I don't know where the 6th one is, so I stole one from my tree. Not to show it, but oh well. So pretty much just see how it's done. I welded up all this base, put this on, like I showed you. I had to get that angle right. Here's how those all look when they're done. It's important that you weld the heck out of this stuff because it's quite a bit of force that hits these, and when it hits that other side, it'll really try to pop those off if you don't do it right. And then this whole top comes out from the base, so it's a little bit easier to transport. And then when you shoot it, it looks like this. It's a little bit noisy, but so this is my bullet. And there you go. And it can take 380, 9mm, 45, whatever. If you're shooting 45, sometimes you have to lean it a little bit more for it so it doesn't flip other plates. Because it'll hit it. You see how those ones will come and go? Yeah. So it's a little bit harder. But anyway, works great. And now I just got to paint it up because obviously it's not painted yet. But there you go. If you guys have any other questions, comments, or any other suggestions on how to make this thing better, please put it in the comments below. Okay guys, thanks for watching.